Mr. Thompson here. So we're looking at U.S. History Standard 2, which is describe the early English colonial society and investigate the development of its governance, which is the way it ruled. More specifically, we're looking at part A in that standard that zooms in on the European cultural diversity and the contributions that different ethnic and religious groups made. England's American colonies had various European cultures. Starting with the first permanent settlement at Jamestown in 1607, approximately 250,000 Europeans migrated to the colonies by 1700. Even more so, at the outbreak of the American Revolution, the population in England's North American colonies was approaching 2.5 million. Most immigrants to the colonies at the beginning were from England, but over time, many immigrants came from other European countries. For example, the different European ethnic groups during the colonial period included immigrants from Scotland, Ireland, and Germany. Various push factors led these immigrants to England's American colonies seeking opportunity. Scottish immigrants actually had easier access to the colonies once Scotland and England became politically unified, and that was formalized in 1707. Scottish and Irish immigrants settled in the mountainous backcountry that was located west of already established colonial settlements. The Irish and Scottish would all be in their mountainous backcountry like, "Hey, top of the morning to ya. How you doing?" "Doing just fine." The unique speech patterns and folk songs characteristic of the United States Appalachian region can be traced back to these Irish and Scottish settlers decades before the Revolutionary War period. German immigrants also began to populate England's American colonies during the early period. Germany was actually divided into these small rival principalities, so little areas ruled by a prince. So not a big giant state, but rather a big state having small little regional territories. So of course, with all these rival small areas vying for power, led to a lot of violence in Germany. Each principality, in order to finance, so to pay for their defense, they often had to tax the common people living there very heavily, and a lot of times people were forced into military service. So you probably wouldn't want to live in Germany if that was going on. So this strict control coming from these German princes made the people think to themselves, wow, I really want to search for some better financial opportunities and also have more autonomy, so more personal freedom. William Penn recruits these disgruntled, upset Germans and invites them and says, come on down. Come on down to Pennsylvania, our new colony, for a better life. So once these Germans are living in Pennsylvania, they're in America enjoying life, they start writing back to their family back in Germany and are saying, look, Pennsylvania rules. There's abundant land, there's lots of food, the taxes are cheap, and there's no forced military service. Pennsylvania is the best. Once the Germans start hearing the news, they're like, come on, let's all go to Pennsylvania. Woo! So now all these Germans are coming to Pennsylvania seeking opportunity and land. The mid-Atlantic colonies came into English possession as already ethically diverse places. For example, the cultures in these colonies were Dutch, French, Swedish, Finnish, German, and Scottish. Because there was great diversity beyond just the English culture, all these different cultures had to work together and find a way to tolerate one another if they wanted to have a successful society. Elements of these various European cultures, from language, style, food, and architecture, all came together to form the basis of a uniquely American culture. Different religious groups made their way to England's American colonies looking for opportunity to freely practice their religion. Puritans firmly established their religious values in the New England colonies of Massachusetts Bay and Plymouth. Even though the Puritans immigrated to the colonies to flee religious persecution, they did not tolerate other religious practices in their own colonies. Maryland was originally established as a colony where Catholics could worship freely and legislated their religious protection through the Acts of Toleration in 1649. Rhode Island was accepting of all religions, including different Protestant sects, Catholicism, Judaism, and Quakerism. The Quakers, however, primarily settled in Pennsylvania, and they were also very tolerant of other religions. The diversity of religions, particularly in Rhode Island and Pennsylvania, meant that no one faith held a majority in that colony. Therefore, no one religion became the established religion of that colony. The American tradition of separation of church and state began with the religious diversity in the American colonies. The foundation for cultural and religious diversity in the United States was set during this colonial period because these colonies became home to a wide variety of different immigrants from various countries and different religious backgrounds. That sums up the European cultural diversity and the different contributions of the ethnic groups and religious groups in the American colonies.